The Don Knife Fight, or the Battle on the Red Fork, part of the Great Sioux War of 1876–77, was a battle that was fought on November 25, 1876 in present-day Johnson County, Wyoming between soldiers and scouts of the United States Army and warriors of the Northern Cheyenne. The battle essentially ended the Cheyennes' ability to wage war on the Great Plains. Background: after soldiers from Fort Fetterman in Wyoming Territory under Brigadier General George Crook fought the Northern Cheyennes at the Battle of Powder River on March 17, 1876, the Battle of Prairie Dog Creek on June 9, 1876, the Battle of the Rosebud on June 17, 1876, and the Battle of Slim Buttes on September 9–10, 1876, General Crook received reinforcements at his Goose Creek, Wyoming supply base and began to move up to the Old Bozeman Trail towards Crazy Horse. After learning of a village of Cheyennes in October 1876, Crook sent Colonel Ranald S. Mackenzie into the southern Powder River country to locate it. Colonel Mackenzie departed Camp Robinson, Nebraska with nearly 1,000 soldiers in 11 companies of the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th United States Cavalry regiments. He also had a large contingent of 400 Indian scouts, including Pawnee led by Lee Harris, Uli Shah, Shoshone led by Ohoate, Arapaho led by Sharp-Nosed, Sioux led by Three Bears, Bannocks led by Tupseepaw, and Cheyenne. The expedition of 1,500 officers and men left Fort Fetterman on 14 November, 1876, accompanied by 4 dismounted companies of the 4th Artillery and 11 CPMs of infantry from the 4th, 9th, 14th and 25th Regiments under Col. R.I. Dodge, and a medical staff of 6 surgeons. The Indian scouts scoured the front, flank and rear up to 40 miles. The cavalry then pushed forward, ready to fall back on the infantry if necessary. A train of 168 wagons, 7 ambulances, 219 drivers and attendants, 400 mules and 65 packers in the packed train supplied the column. They waited out a snowstorm at Cantonment, Reno until the 22nd of November. The battle. On the 23rd of November, a Cheyenne Indian from the Red Cloud Agency informed the soldiers of a extremely large Cheyenne village at the source of Crazy Woman Creek, further upstream from the current U.S. camp, in a Bighorn Mountains canyon. Gen. Mackenzie was ordered to take the Indian scouts, and all of the cavalry except 1 company, in search of the village. He led 1,000 men, 1/3 of which were Indians. Eventually on November 25, 1876, Mackenzie found the camp of Don Knife and Little Wolf on the Red Fork of the Powder River. The Cheyenne warriors were having a celebration because of a recent victory over a Shoshone village. Mackenzie waited until dawn, then attacked and drove the warriors from the village. Some were forced to leave their clothes, blankets and buffalo robes behind and flee into the frozen countryside. Don Knife began to offer stiff resistance, and savage fighting continued. The Pawnee warriors accompanying the soldiers fought with exceptional ability against the Cheyennes. 2nd Lieutenant John A. McKinney, of the 4th United States Cavalry Regiment, and 5 enlisted men were killed in action. Chief Don Knife's Cheyenne warriors finally retreated, abandoning their village. The Cheyenne village of 200 lodges and all its contents were entirely destroyed, and the soldiers captured about 700 head of stock. Aftermath. Don Knife lost 3 sons in the fight. From the desperate cold of the night immediately following, they suffered as much. 11 babies froze to death in the arms of famished mothers. Finally, the U.S. soldiers recovered articles from the Custer massacre. The Don Knife fight ended the Northern Cheyennes' resistance to the United States for all practical purposes. General Crook telegrammed the War Department, "This will be a terrible blow to the hostiles, as those Cheyennes were not only their bravest warriors but have been the head and front of most all the raids and deviltry committed in this country. Don Knife's followers were left in the freezing November weather without sufficient clothing, and many suffered from frostbite. A large number of Don Knife's band traveled north along the Bighorn Mountains, eventually reaching the upper Tongue River regions. Some joined Chief Crazy Horse's Oglala camp on Beaver Creek, and on January 8, 1877, would fight alongside Crazy Horse and 2 Moon at the Battle of Wolf Mountain on the banks of the Tongue River, in Montana Territory. Order of battle: Native Americans, Chiefs Don Knife, and Little Coyote. About 400 warriors. United States Army expedition from Camp Robinson, Nebraska, October-November, 1876. Late Major General, Colonel Ranald S. Mackenzie, commanding. Don Knife Battlefield. The Don Knife Battlefield is located east of the Bighorn Mountains in Johnson County, Wyoming, near the present-day town of Casey, Wyoming. The battlefield is on private land and tours are available only by special arrangement. The location is now the site of a cattle ranch.